God, why me? Why this? God, why so much problem? And God confirmed it. I was getting ready to go to bed, and I ended up, and there was this video that was on Facebook, and it was like God was saying, that's it. This young lady was doing a dance, and she was saying, Lord, I just want you to make it stop. And God was confirming it to me, even those moments in our life where we hope in God, make the pain stop, make the problems go away. He said, I need you to trust me because I'm going to defy logic. But before you get to that part, you're going to have to trust me. In other words, you got to trust me while I'm hurting you. You're going to have to trust me. You're going to have to trust me. You know, you're going to have to trust me while I'm allowing stuff to be taken away from you. You still going to have to trust me. But I'm going to need you to do more than just trust. I'm going to need you to obey me even in the meantime. And then I'm going to need more for you to just trust and obey. I'm going to even need praise. Now, wait a minute. I'm hurting. I'm in pain. Stuff being taken away from me. I'm being beaten. And God is saying, trust, obey, and praise. And so that's what I'm going to talk to you about today, because I'm going to tell you something that look like you've been left for dead and God don't hear your prayers, but he's about to defy logic, and he's about to turn things around. But tell somebody, say, you're going to have to trust him. But now tell him you're going to have to trust him while he's slaying you. Tell somebody, tell him, you didn't tell him that. You're going to have to trust him while he's slaying you. Now, you still didn't tell the person. Tell the person you're going to have to trust him while he's slaying you. You're going to have to trust him while he's killing you. You're going to have to trust him while he's whooping on you. And not only do you got to trust him, he's saying you're going to have to give me a praise even while it hurts. God dealing with me. He's saying, Rodney, I'm about to defy logic. I'm about to do something that's going to be so miraculous. But before you could spread the rod out and see the Red Sea part, you're going to have to go through some stuff. See, we just want to get to the part where Moses stretched out the rod. But you got to go back a few chapters and find out what they came through. But tell somebody, just trust him. Just trust him. And I'm going to tell you now, you're going to have to hurt. The son going to have to do something crazy. You're going to have to get laid off. You may get the pink slip. You may get fired. It doesn't matter, but you're going to have to trust him. Husband may walk out on you, but you got to trust him. You may go to the doctor, and you may get bad news, but you got to trust him. I told y'all here, a few weeks ago, I had that colonoscopy and all that stuff. And, they had sent me one of those nice little letters, which wasn't what the doctor had already told me, but they sent the letter. I had never even opened the letter up to even read it. Because it didn't matter what you said in the letter, I knew what. So what God had already said. So whatever you would send me in mail couldn't contradict what God had already told me in the spirit. I'm trying to tell somebody, stop being moved by the news you get. Stop being moved by what you're going through. What you got to do is say, God, I trust you. Oh, I see already this going to work out for my good. Even before I get to the end, I know how this story ends. And it ends, all is well. So let's look. So I'm going to talk to you about trusting, because God is going to defy logic. Question.
What burdens are you living under? And have you ever asked the question, wow, is the Lord here with me or not?
Read that again. They missed that.
What burdens are you living under?
Yeah, well, anybody here up under some heavy burdens? You got some heavy load? And have you ever asked the question, Lord, are you with me? Are you anywhere around? Have you failed to show up, God? Come on here and read.
You are in the wilderness.
Yes.
Thirsty. Dying. But God said, trust him, because he is about to defy logic and turn things around for you.
Now go back and read, because some of y'all didn't catch this. Read it again.
You are in the wilderness.
It's one thing to be in the wilderness, but it's another thing to be in the wilderness and be thirsty. Now what does thirst represent in this point? Yeah, thirst not necessarily implying water. Thirst implies a need. I'm in the wilderness. That would be one thing. If I was in the wilderness and I had a food supply, and I had everything I needed while I was in the wilderness. But it's bad to be in the wilderness, and the stuff I think I need to sustain me, I don't have. I got some people today, you in the wilderness and you're thirsty. In other words, God, I'm in the wilderness, but God, I got a need. But now, it'll be a bad thing to be in the wilderness and have a need and unconscious. Now, let me say that again because you're going to catch it. It'll be a bad thing, you know, if I was in the wilderness and unconscious, I mean, it'll be a good thing. You was in the wilderness, unconscious, you don't know what's going on. But watch this. I'm in the wilderness, I'm thirsty, and, now wait a minute. I'm in the wilderness, I'm thirsty, and I'm alert to know that I'm dying. Now that makes it bad. It'd be one thing if I was knocked out and but to be in the wilderness, to have a need and to know that I got a need and feel like I'm dying and God is not moving, God is not answering. But all he's saying, though you're dying, trust me. Though you don't see no water, trust me. You don't see, trust me. God, instead of saying trust while you're in the wilderness, while you're thirsty, and while you die. Some of you are dying and God is saying, trust me. Some of you are thirsty. You're in a dry place. And he's simply saying, trust me. And you say, but God, I've been trusting and I've been waiting. God, don't you see? I'm at my last breath. And he's saying, take your last breath and trust me. I want to tell somebody in the house today, you may be at your last breath today, but go ahead and take your last breath and trust him, because we serve a God that resurrects dead things. So in the wilderness, thirsty and dying, but God says, trust me, because this is what he said I'm going to do. I'm going to defy logic. Because you would think that if you're in the wilderness, you're thirsty and dying, what's the next step? Permanent death. But God said, I'm going to defy logic. What should have been permanent, I'm going to resurrect. Come on here and read. Number 2.
God commands praise from you even when you are suffering under heavy burden.
Read that again. I don't think they caught that.
God commands praise from you.
Now, I will show you in Psalms 81, God did not ask them for praise. He commanded. He instituted. The first 3 verses are actually Psalms 81 is God giving them command that you owe me praise. And so he commanded for them to praise him. I'm telling you that God said, in spite of what you're going through, I command praise out of your mouth. I command, God, you are worthy. In other words, God said, you may be hurting, you may be in pain, you may be down, but he's still commanding praise. Not mumbling, not complaining. God said, in spite of how you feel, you owe me praise. You owe me praise just for being God, just for saving you. You owe me, if I don't do another thing for you, you already owe me praise. So Psalms 81 opens up with God saying, I don't have to do nothing to you for me to deserve praise. I deserve praise just because I'm God. Some of you are waiting on when my husband comes, I'll praise him. When my debts are paid off, I'll praise him. But God said, you don't have to wait on anything. All you have to do is think about the goodness of Jesus, and that all will be enough just to make you praise him. Look at somebody and say, you owe him praise. I know you might have cried last night, but you still owe him praise. I know you may be broke, but you still owe him praise. Your child may not be saved, but you still owe him praise. Woo. Might have got bad news on the job, but you still owe him praise. I'm not praising you because of what you're going to do. I'm praising you for what you've done on Calvary. So you owe him praise. So that's the reason you go, but preacher, you don't understand. You don't understand the load I'm up under. But I'm going to tell you what, even up under your load, you owe him praise. Point number 3.
God commands praise from you even when you are suffering under heavy burden.
3.
Even in your wilderness, God can make something good happen.
Read that again.
Even in your wilderness, God can make something good happen.
Read that again.
Even in your wilderness, God can make something good happen.
Go ahead.
Your circumstances shall not defeat you.
I'm going to let you know today, and I'm going to show you in the text. It's amazing me. I can read the Bible so many times, and God would give me a new revelation on it. But I found out so often we praise the God that makes things happen in the green pastures. But can I tell y'all something? We serve a God that makes things happen in a desert.
All right.
We serve a God that caused things to happen in the wilderness. We serve a God that you could have a Pharaoh behind you and a Red Sea in front of you. We serve a God that'll make a miracle happen when you're surrounded by your enemies. I found out not only do I praise him for being a God of the green pastures, but I praise him for being God in the valley. And some of you, listen here, here we go. God been giving me these prophetic words, and he said, listen here, I'm not going to bless you in the green pasture. I'm not going to bless you on the mountaintop. He said, what I'm going to defy logic here, I'm about to make a miracle take place in your life down in your wilderness. I'm about to do something in your Lodabar. In other words, I'm not going to get you up out of the valley. I'm going to come in the valley and cause you to sprout up in the valley. To look at somebody and tell them something good is about to happen in your valley. Look at somebody else and tell them something good is about to happen in your valley, in your depression, in your brokenness. God says something good is about to happen in your low place. I got to get to my text. But I'm only talking to people in low places. And I'm trying to tell you that God is about to do something in the low places. Because the enemy said, you are only God of the hill. But he said, I want to prove to him that I'm God of the valley. So I'm going to bless you while you're on your back. Point number 3.
If you are living in obedience to God's word, don't worry about things you have no control over.
This is going to go over all y'all head. Y'all going to miss this. You're going to miss this. Read that again. They're going to miss it.
If you are living in obedience to God's word,
yes,
don't worry about things you have no control over.
Read it again.
If you're living in obedience to God's word.
If I'm doing what he told me to do. If I'm doing my part. The stuff I can't control, I'm going to leave that up to God. Oh, God required me to be obedient to his word, to live by his word, to do what he's commanded. And if I'm doing his business, he will take care of your business. Why are you laying awake at night worrying about something you can't control, people you can't do nothing with? God said, all I need you to do, touch somebody and say, just obey God. That's your part. God ain't made you God over their life. You just obey God. Tell somebody else you obey God, and tell him he'll handle the rest. So listen. God spoke to me. God said, stop worrying about stuff you can't control. All I need from you, Rodney, is a yes. I need you every time I tell yes, God. I don't understand why they acting a fool, but yes, God, I'm going to go ahead. God, I don't understand why I'm being mistreated, why I'm being lied on, but don't worry about that. You just keep doing what I told you to do. And I'm going to tell some of y'all, it ain't the person that's holding you up. You holding yourself up because you trying to wait for them to change. When God said, what did I command you to do? I'm going to tell him, Moses. I tell him. You know, Moses. Listen to this. Moses. Now, Moses led these people out of Egypt. And now, he got a Red Sea in front of Pharaoh behind. And these folks, now, Moses, why you bring us out here just to kill us? Here. Moses ain't nothing. Now, if Moses, watch it, if he sat there and tried to entertain, well, explain something to them. Well, you see, God, you know, But God said, Moses, don't even worry about that. What's in your hand, Moses? What did I give you? What the people said don't have nothing to do with what I gave you. What the people's talking about don't have nothing to do with it. Some of y'all spending too much time talking to the people. What did God say? Moses, stretch out. Stretch out your hand. I'm going to give you the revelation. Y'all sit down. You're going to make me miss this. I'm going to give you a revelation. God was talking to me in my prayer closet. And God was talking to me. He said, why you think I talked to Moses? And I told Moses. And I didn't sit there and have conversation with the people. God didn't talk with the people. He talked with Moses. He said, Rodney, Moses was the one that had the relationship with me. Rodney, Moses was the one I gave the authority to. And what I'm trying to tell somebody, while you spending time arguing and fussing with the Pharaoh, God said, I have given you the authority and the power. You need to stand up and raise up your rod and be like a Joshua. As for me and my house, I'm trying to tell some people in the house today, baby, quit talking to Pharaoh. Tell somebody you got the authority. Tell somebody you got the power. You got the authority. You got the power. Yeah. So he tell Moses, come on, read my point.
Although it looks bad,
yeah,
have faith in God because your liberation is closer than what you think.
Go. They missed that.
Although it looks bad,
there's a key word in there. One word. Come on, read.
Have faith in God.
Yes.
Because your liberation is closer than what you think.
Read it again. I'm see somebody catch this.
Although it looks bad.
Yeah.
Have faith in God.
Something? Can I give you something else? Sometimes it is bad.
Yeah. Amen.
And they don't just look. It's bad. Somebody just say it's bad.
It's bad.
But have in God. Although it's bad, I'm going to wait in my sermon, but I don't know, may not get there, so I'll just give it to you now. I was looking at this sermon, and God says, brought to my attention, Rodney, you remember the story about Lazarus in John the 11th chapter. You remember that I got news that Lazarus was sick. But now it just didn't look bad. Lazarus was in a bad condition, and they sent word to God that Lazarus really was dying. Now, something amazing. I've read the text over and over, and I found out something that's interesting in the text, that it was bad. But Jesus shows up on the scene, and basically, if you allow me to paraphrase, he tells Mary and Martha, have faith in me in spite of what's going on. You're going to miss that. He says, basically, in spite of the news, in spite of Lazarus being in the grave, in spite of a stone being in front of the tomb, have faith in God. Now, they trying to tell God, now you know he's been dead 4 days and he's stinking. And Jesus asked this, can you believe? Y'all going to miss this. Jesus asked, can you believe? Because he's saying Lazarus' condition has nothing to do with a permanent situation. All I want to do was to test you to see, can you believe, have enough faith in me that I can defy logic and make stuff that's dead come back to life. So watch this. So he keeps talking, and down in the text you get to the end, Martha and them, he said, can you believe? And she says 2 words. Yes, Lord. She says, yes, Lord. Brother dead 4 days in the grave. You better catch it. And she says, yes, Lord. Brother dead 4 days in the grave. All hope would appear to be gone. And she says, yes, Lord. I'm talking to some people in the house today. Your stuff is in the grave. And God is wanting to know, you don't need to tell me about the condition of Lazarus. I just need to know, can you believe in spite of what you see? Can you believe in spite of what you're going through? Can I get a yes, Lord, out of you? Can I still get a yes, Lord? Because that's all that God needs from some of y'all. He needs yes in spite of, I trust you, God. So I'm sitting there. Now listen to this. I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, Lord, help me minister to the people that are going to need this. I'm thinking, I go back and I reread John again, and I said, how many of you can identify this? She's lost somebody she loves in pain, hurting, and tears. And Jesus is still saying, trust me. Y'all missed that. Hurting, in pain, tears, lost somebody you love, and Jesus says, trust me. Hurting, in pain, in tears, and lost somebody you love, and Jesus says, trust me. And now, if you would be honest, your natural, God, I don't trust in you, and look at where. Touch somebody and say, he still want to know, do you trust him? Just touch somebody and say, he still want to know. Touch that person next to you and say, he still want to know, will you trust him? He still want to know. I know you're in pain. Talk to him. But I know you're hurting. But he still want to know, will you trust him? I know you don't have what you prayed for. But he still want to know, will you trust him? I know you've been going through the storm. I know you've been thinking, but will you still trust him when it don't make sense? Since I may not get to it, let me just jump in this here. I was trying to figure out, and God, how do you get people to trust you when it don't make sense? And so I'm reading, and Joyce Meyer had this one thing that stuck out to me. I'm going to add some more stuff, but I'm going to take what she said at first. But Joyce had something, because I'm trying to figure out, how do you tell people to trust you, God, when it don't make sense? And she says this. She says, you have to learn to become content and satisfied even when you don't understand all things. I'm going to say that again. She said that if you're going to learn to trust God, you have to get to a point that where you could just be content and satisfied even when you don't understand. Y'all still didn't catch that. I'm going to say, see, can I put it another way? See, can I tell you this way? Sometime in this life, we're looking for answers. God, why me? God, why my child? You know, I raised my child the best I could. I did everything possible in my child life. God, can you tell me why my child won? Some of y'all are searching for answers. And Joyce said you have to come to a point that sometime in life, you're going to go through some stuff God just ain't going to give you no answer about. So she said, you got to get to a place to where you could become content and satisfied with not knowing. Some of y'all, your question been to God, how much longer, God? When you going to? Just have to get to that place where, God, I'm going to be satisfied and content because that's outside of my control. So that's one thing. The second thing I came up with, I took it from the John, the 11th chapter. I said, the key to trusting God when you're going through difficult time is, number one, you had to learn to be what? And satisfied even when you don't understand. That means some of the stuff you're going through now, you're not going to know it until Jesus come back. God, why this happened to me? Why it happened in my family? You're just going to have to go. Sometimes we turn bitter trying to figure out the whys. Number two, my John 11 said, the key to trusting God is this: believing when you can't see it. Key to trusting God, you got to be able to believe when you can't see. That when God is speaking growth and God is speaking increase is when you can't see it. I was telling them, I'm looking at negotiate a contract to start running commercials at least twice a day on 98.7. Running commercials 2 days a week on 98.7 and 2 times a day, 5 days a week on 98.7. So just 30-second church commercials twice a day and doing a few interviews on WAGG and having a couple other things done on Saturdays and Sunday. But when I was in there, and I'm thinking, okay, after they get through telling me, yeah, we could do this, we could start it August 31st for you. Oh, good. How much does it cost? I asked. And they said $4,000 a month for a 6 months contract. 4,000 times 6 months is $24,000. 6 months, $4,000, right? 6 months. $24,000. And because I want to speak to somebody. So what I tried to do in the natural was to go to see it. Okay. And I heard God says, because Rodney, if you having a hard time trusting me with this, and you the same one been praying and talking about, I'm going to do this, and then God going to bring the millions, and we're going to be on TV. He said, what do you think a TV contract costs? Listen to me. Hear me. Everybody look at me. Follow me on it. Some of you, what you going through, you're trying to see the way before it happens. Now hear me. Everybody look at me. Everybody look this way. Look this way. You're trying to see it before it happens. God says this. You're not going to see it before it happens. You're going to have to walk by faith. And listen to this. Watch it. Y'all, I got to get through, and I got to get in my text. The whole time you walking, come here, Ryan, you'll do. Can you get by over there? Jump across, you walk on that. Just walk. I'll give you permission. Yeah, because I need somebody. The whole time, close your eyes. And no, turn, yeah, lead you. Yeah, close your eyes now. Whole time you walking, he hearing you saying they're going to get better, but all you can feel is the licks. But the whole time you walking, slow down. He hearing you, he said it's going to get better, but you still feeling the lick. Listen to me. Some of y'all, the devil got you concentrating more on the hit than hearing God's voice saying it's going to get better. The devil got some of y'all concentrating more on being beat versus God saying, I'm going to turn it around for you, that you're closer than what you think. Get your mind off. See, if you would pay more attention and talk to yourself and open up your mouth while he's hitting you, saying God said it's going to get better. See, if you would speak that, it would block out the hit. So you caught that, right? It would block the hit because all I'm talking, God said it's going to get better. And the more he hit me, the more I'm going to scream. I'm closer than what you think. My stick here. I'll be needing it. Come here. I got to get in.